Welcome, brave souls, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. I am your guide through this shadowed realm, a place where the trees whisper secrets and the darkness hides unspeakable horrors. Tonight, we delve into tales that will chill your bones and unsettle your spirit. Stories of forgotten trails, where each step could be your last. Of campers who find that they are not alone in the woods, and of whispers that echo with the voices of the damned. Are you ready to journey into the heart of fear, to confront the terrors that lurk just beyond the safety of the firelight? Gather your courage and let us step into the abyss together. Story number 1. Whispers Among the Trees. Under the canopy of ancient trees, Jake, Mia, and Ryan set up their campsite, excited for a weekend away from the city's chaos. The forest, vast and untamed, promised adventure and escape. As night enveloped the woods, the trio sat around the campfire, sharing stories and laughs. But Mia couldn't shake off a creeping sense of unease, a feeling of being watched from the shadows. Jake, ever the optimist, assured her it was just the wilderness playing tricks on her mind. Ryan, focused on his marshmallow roasting, scoffed at the idea of forest spooks. But as they settled into their tents, the night came alive with strange noises. Twigs snapping, soft whispers carried by the wind, an eerie rustling of leaves. Sleep was elusive, with each sound amplifying their unease. The next day, driven by a mix of curiosity and the need to prove their fears unfounded, the friends ventured deeper into the forest. They stumbled upon unsettling signs, strange symbols carved into the bark of trees, and an old campsite, seemingly abandoned in haste, its belongings scattered and torn. As dusk approached, the forest's unsettling atmosphere intensified. Shadows seemed to move with a life of their own, and the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Personal belongings went missing, only to be found in bizarre places. It was clear they were not alone. That night, the true horror revealed itself. A figure, shrouded in darkness, appeared at the edge of their campsite, its eyes gleaming with an unnatural light. The air turned cold, and the whispers crescendoed into a cacophony of ghostly voices. In a panic, the group scrambled to leave, but the forest seemed to shift and change around them, disorienting their escape. Ryan, once a skeptic, now screamed in terror as shadowy tendrils reached out towards them. Amidst the chaos, Jake disappeared, his cries echoing through the trees. Maya and Ryan, driven by sheer survival instinct, finally found their way out of the woods as dawn broke. Mia and Ryan recounted their harrowing experience to the authorities, but no trace of Jake or the mysterious entity was ever found. The forest, with its ancient trees and hidden secrets, remained a place of disturbing encounters, its whispers still heard by those who dared to venture too close. Story number 2. Lost Echoes in the Forest. Lily, Mark, and Eva, driven by a thirst for adventure and the allure of the unknown, ventured into a dense, misty forest known as much for its natural beauty as its eerie legends. Laden with camping gear and Lily's camera equipment, they were eager to explore the uncharted depths of this mysterious wilderness. As night fell, they set up camp in a clearing, the forest's canopy a blanket of stars above them. Huddled around the campfire, they exchanged tales they had heard about the forest, stories of lost travelers, ghostly figures, and a haunting melody that lured the unwary deeper into the woods. Even as they laughed off these legends, odd occurrences began to unfold. A fleeting shadow darting between trees, a strange rustling not quite like the wind, and distant, unplaceable noises that disturbed the night's stillness. Lily's attempts to capture the beauty of the forest at night were marred by inexplicable blurs and distortions in her photographs. The following day, driven by a mix of curiosity and unease, they ventured deeper into the forest. They stumbled upon ancient ruins, overgrown and forgotten, with cryptic carvings that Mark tried to decipher. The deeper they went, the more surreal their surroundings became. Lily's camera began to capture shapes and figures that weren't visible to the naked eye, while Mark swore he could hear his name being whispered from different directions, disorienting him. Returning to their camp at dusk, they found their belongings scattered, as if rifled through by unseen hands. A dense fog rolled in, and the air grew heavy, charged with an unspoken dread. As they tried to settle in for the night, a ghostly apparition appeared at the edge of the clearing, vanishing when they tried to approach it. Pursuing the apparition led them astray. The familiar paths seemed to twist and turn unnaturally. The landmarks they remembered were gone, and soon they were hopelessly lost. Fear gripped them as the forest closed in, the once friendly trees now looming like silent sentinels. As darkness enveloped the woods, they sensed they were being hunted. Branches cracked under unseen feet, and chilling breaths brushed their necks. The harrowing chase ensued, with an indistinct entity always just a step behind. They ran, hearts pounding, lungs burning, until, by some miracle, they emerged from the forest, the first rays of dawn breaking the horizon. Back in the safety of their own world, they struggled to process their experience. The forest, with its lost echoes and hidden terrors, remained an enigmatic mystery. Lily's camera held the only proof of their ordeal, but even the images were ambiguous, leaving more questions than answers. As they tried to move on, they couldn't shake off the feeling that something from the forest had followed them back, a whisper in the wind, a shadow just out of sight. The story ends with a shot of the forest edge at dusk, the rustling leaves sounding almost like hushed laughter. Story number 3, The Forgotten Trail. Sarah, Kevin, and Nina, seeking an escape from their routine lives, set out for a camping adventure in a dense, lesser-known forest. With high spirits and backpacks loaded, they'd ventured into the untamed wilderness, unaware of the forest's obscure and dark history. Their first few hours were filled with laughter and the thrill of discovery as they hiked deeper into the forest. The untouched beauty of the woods was mesmerizing, but as the day wore on, an unspoken unease began to settle over the group. The deeper they went, the more they felt like intruders in a world not their own. Their unease deepened when they stumbled upon remnants of what looked like an old campsite. Tattered tents, scattered belongings, and a cold fire pit spoke of a hasty departure. Stranger still were the markings they found on several trees, symbols that seemed to whisper of old, forgotten rituals. As night fell, the forest transformed. The once comforting crackle of their fire now seemed to echo with hidden threats. Shadows danced at the edge of their campsite, and the air was filled with the sounds of unseen movements. Occasionally, they caught fleeting glimpses of figures in the darkness, too quick to be seen clearly but unmistakably human-like. The feeling of being watched was inescapable, and every rustle of leaves sent shivers down their spines. The next morning brought no relief. They awoke to find the landscape subtly altered. Familiar landmarks were missing, paths seemed to lead nowhere, and a dense fog obscured their vision. The forest, once a place of adventure, now felt like a labyrinth designed to trap them. Panic set in as they realized they were lost. The forest seemed to close in around them, the trees like silent sentinels blocking their way. Then the chase began. Something was pursuing them, always just out of sight, but its presence was felt in every quickened heartbeat and hurried breath. They ran, stumbling over roots and through underbrush, driven by primal fear. By some stroke of luck, they found their way out of the forest, emerging into the open as the sun began to set, casting long shadows behind them. Exhausted, terrified, and grateful to be alive, they vowed never to return to those woods. In the days that followed, they tried to rationalize their experience, to explain it away as the result of getting lost and letting their imaginations run wild. But deep down, they knew they had encountered something unexplainable, something that defied logic. As they resumed their normal lives, a subtle yet persistent feeling haunted them. Sarah noticed shadows lingering a bit too long. Kevin heard whispers in the silence of the night. Nina felt eyes upon her when she was alone. The forest, it seemed, had not finished with them. The story concludes with a final, chilling realization that sometimes the horrors found in the deepest woods are not bound by their physical boundaries, but linger on in the minds and souls of those who dare to venture into the unknown. Our time tonight in these shadowed woods has come to an end, but the echoes of our tales linger in the stillness of the night. Thank you for joining me in this journey through the unknown and the terrifying. Did these stories send shivers down your spine? Did they whisper to you in the quiet moments? Share your thoughts and perhaps your own eerie tales in the comments below. If your thirst for the macabre remains unquenched, remember to subscribe and ring the bell. The darkness has many more secrets to unveil. Until we meet again, keep a watchful eye over your shoulder and never stray too far into the unknown. For in the world of horror, the most terrifying tales are often too real.